Welcome back to the Mr. Gassser build on Harry's Hobbies. And even though this model only has 30 pieces, probably less than that, this thing sure is being a fun build. So let me bring you up to speed as to what I've got done so far and what I'll be doing in this video. So I've pieced together and primed and painted the figure itself. And as you can see, I've got the pants. I taped off the pants and I taped off the eyes to make them a little easier to paint. And then I sprayed this with the Krylon Fusion Gloss Jungle Green, so it's quite shiny. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to work on painting this hair. And I'm going to do that in a couple of steps. And first we're going to start off with a basic Tester's dark green. No, it's not really that dark. So, and I'm also going to add this dark green to the main hair piece, which this fits onto the top. It's got an angle piece, and it'll sit up something like that. So, and I'm going to start, I know there's hair streaks here, but I'm going to start on this so that this can get set up to dry a little bit before I continue on with the painting. And I'm just flat going to paint the whole thing in that green color, because I'll be following it up with another green. So let's get started on that. So now that I have that painted on, this Tester's green, I'm going to give that a while to dry, and I'll continue on with the next color, and that will be this Sublime green. So that'll be upcoming next. So just stand by for that.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
After giving the dark green ample time to dry, I'm going to go over that to help it stand out a little bit with this Sublime green from Tester's. And this is a lighter color. And what I'm looking to do is add some highlights to it. I'm going to do it by getting some paint on the brush and just brushing over. And this will dry a flat color. As I recall, I haven't used this in a while, so And I'm just going to brush this in. Now I have taken some still shots of this process as well, because I know it's a little hard to see it in the video. And I take close-up shots. Most of the time they come out pretty good, but every once in a while I get kind of a crappy one. And set that off to dry. And then I'll take the bigger piece, and I'm going to use a different brush for this one. So I wash out this brush. And again, I'm using enamels for this process. Now, I'm not using the water-based paints just yet. I do have some that I'll be using. So now I'm going to get started on the main body of the hair. So I'm going to get going on that. So I've gone over it with the Sublime Green, and I'm going to give this plenty of time to dry, 2 or 3 hours minimum, since the next step and the next paint I'll be using is a water base. And water-based paints and enamels don't mix that well. So that'll be upcoming following this. And that's going to be a fluorescent color, which will really make it pop, I think. And stay tuned for that. That's coming up next.
Much later.
So I'm back after giving the greens quite a bit of time to dry. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the fluorescent colors. And I picked these up at an Ollie's Warehouse store that sells a lot of stuff cheaper. And this actually came with 2 water-based. And it's kind of nice because they're in a little plastic holder thingy. Unfortunately, these bottles don't come out, but it'll work. And these are water-based paints, so I had to give the enamel plenty of time to dry. And I'm going to use the green fluorescent water base. And I'm going to start with the hair on the head, of course, as I've done before. And I'm just going to brush this on. And this should give it a nice little glow after it dries. And this will should dry a clear color. Doggone mayfly in here. I'll be doggone. I set that off. And bring the main part of the hair over. And I'm just going to do the same thing with this. Just brush it on. And I'm putting it on a little thick. since it does, water-based paints like this have a tendency of drying a little clear. So that's why I put it on a little bit thicker. So I'm not overly concerned with getting runs and things like that into the other colors. So you just take your time and go along and get a nice good coat. And if you're not happy with it, you can always come back a little bit later and add more. But you can't take away from it. So once it's there, it's there. You can always add to, but you can't take away from. Unless you want to strip the paints, which is a royal pain in the butt to do. Thus far, this has been a pretty fun model to build. And I haven't had any huge issues with it. There's been a few gaps and things that I've had to fill in, but nothing overly bad. And then we're going to let this fluorescent dry real well. And, you know, the good thing about the water-based paints is the cleanup. You don't need any chemicals. You just need some water and soap and water if necessary. So that's how I go about doing that. Clean the brush out. Make sure you put the cap back on. And then that's how I did the hair. And there'll be more to come. So stay tuned for the more of the build. And I hope you enjoyed it. Again, you can leave comments, criticisms, questions, whatever in the comments. Or you can message me directly. And I'll be happy to answer them. But anyway, hey, thanks for watching.